I All right, there we go. Good evening, everyone. And once again, this is a Monday evening, 6 o'clock, and let's get ready to trade. Today, the market was a holiday because of the elections going on. So, we'll take a look at the market from last week's point of view and try and position ourselves for the next 4 days ahead. Nothing beautiful or more prominent and impactful than looking at the charts. So allow me to present my screen. And there you go. Let me drag this to my other screen so that I can take up your questions in the chat box. So there you go, guys. We have the weekly, daily, and the 125-minute time frame charts that I'm looking at, the three different multi-time frame approach. And if we take a look at the sectoral behavior, then you will notice that essentially the market was a sharp bounce back. So let me just blow out the daily chart, okay? And I use Heikin-Ashi charts predominantly, which has the major downside of an Heikin-Ashi is the fact that you will not be able to verify which was the actual opening price. And of course, you don't get to see those gaps. So I'll just change this to bar chart because I have back of my mind something to discuss with you, which will help you to understand, identify if the market is topping out or not. For that, bar chart will be very, very impactful. Nevertheless, I've changed my Heikin-Ashi to the bar chart just to understand the length of the intensity of the bounce back that we experienced last week. This was the length and intensity of the fall the previous week. And so has been the previous falls and the previous rise, which makes the current market situation, condition extremely volatile, choppy, range bound, lack of clarity in terms of the underlying direction. Buy low, sell high tends to be working, breakouts tend to be feeling miserable. Trust me, these are not easy times for any kind of trader, intraday trader, swing trader, short term trader, whatever. Not easy because it's flipping very quickly. And if you've been tracking or trading the market for the last month, 2 months, 2.5 months, you would have definitely experienced, in fact, more than that. Last 2.5 months were particularly more choppy. Before that, it was still some stability, but this area is really choppy. So what's in store? Now, if you take a look at most of the sectoral indices, Bank Nifty, Auto, which has hit a new life high, energy still range bound, finance, most of the charts will show you a decent bounce back last week. Look at the metals, the way it has moved. But what I want to do this Monday evening with you is discuss a very simple yet powerful price reading technique, which will help you to find out, or which will help you to kind of anticipate if the market is topping out or not. It's pure, simple price action based. There's no indicators in this at all. Just have to keep in mind and keep your eyes, not ears, eyes open. Okay. So we'll be looking at breakout failures. So my sense is this, that the market, before it makes any serious correction, before any serious correction of any sector, most of the time, not 100% of the time, you will see that that particular index or that particular stock would have given you a breakout and would have failed, the breakout failure. So my expectation, I'm expecting this to play out in the market, is what the market will do is it will, kind of stretch itself and bring in a lot of positivity back into the market with a new life high, just to reverse the very next day or week and cause a breakout failure and then reverse down. That's my expectation, anticipation. Now, let me first talk about this breakout failure reading in particularly two stages. All right. I saw a brilliant possible breakout failure in one of these sectoral charts, which is the PSU banking chart. I'll spend some time here, the first 10-15 minutes today, to talk about this breakout aspect, and then I'll take up your doubts. You can, post it there in the chat box. Once I cover this, I'm going to take up your doubts and questions. So rule number one is, what is a breakout? A breakout is, let's talk about upside breakout. So your upside breakout is when that particular chart or that stock in whatever time frame, this works in all different time frames, shows you a breakout. That is, it has gone above a distinct resistance which it had created in the past. Let's say in terms of charts or sectoral indices, the index moves to a life high, something like this. This is termed as a breakout. A successful breakout will never look back. A successful breakout will always extend on the upside with the help of long sized candles or bars. A possibility of a breakout failure, a possibility of the fact that this breakout is probably a breakout failure, is when it reverses the very next bar. The very next bar it will reverse. It can be the weekly chart, it can be the daily chart, it can be intraday charts, whatever it is. The moment that happens, and the rule that I follow is, if this is my breakout bar, if this is the bar based on which I got the breakout, first stage is the low of the breakout bar is gone, and a confirmed stage is the previous bar's low is also gone. So two lows are broken. The breakout bar's low is broken and the breakout bar -1. Last two bars low gone. This, when it happened here, I will term it as a proper breakout failure. The proper breakout failure. The signals are very strong. This is a breakout failure. Now, this raises the expectation, anticipation of a follow-through selling. This tells me that the previous breakout has failed, number one. And if this is a successful breakout failure, like there are successful breakouts, there has to be successful breakout failures also. So for this to be a successful breakout failure, the ideal sign is it will pull back like this, and then it will break the low. If this happens, when this happens, most of the time, you will get a brilliant move on the downside and vice versa on the upside. Now, what has happened in the past, in the recent past with the markets, there has been signs of breakout. There has been signs of breakout failure. There has been signs of pullbacks, but those pullbacks extended back to a life high. The pullbacks never led to a follow-through move on the downside. Okay? So with this in mind, predominantly, if you want to find a decent market top, you can look at the weekly chart. Daily chart can give you a short-term breakout top. So keeping this in mind, whatever stocks you track or trade, and especially those which are at a life high, especially those which are showing very good strength, you need to keep in mind, did it give us a breakout or not? And has it started to slip or not? Axis Bank is showing signs of breakout failure. I'm just going to go for the first top 24 names, okay? Now, you will find a bit of that reading in Reliance Industries here, slipping, pulling back. It's been dragging itself down. It's been dragging. It's not like, it's not a one-way fall. That's the kind of market we are in. Hindustan Unilever won't be a possible breakout failure because it's an underperformer. Again, similar kind of a behavior in Titan, wherein you had a breakout failure, dragged itself up all the way up. It's like an Adam and Eve double top. I should have a post on this. This is a brilliant post that I've stumbled upon with today's class. I'll just take a note here. The Titan Adam and Eve double top. I don't know if you're aware of this pattern. Generally, it doesn't fail. So Titan is showing that. I'm going to quickly go through a few of the names here. These are the top 24 names which makes up the Nifty. Now, ICICI Bank has given us a breakout, and it's a throwback. It's pulling back also. I won't say it's a breakout failure. Right now, at this juncture, it's very difficult to say ICICI Bank is a breakout failure. We are looking at the weekly chart, mind you. The daily chart probably can give you some more possibilities because of the short-term behavior. See, this is classic. You can, if this concept is new to you, if you find this concept, this is pure price reading, right? Those who like really talk about price action, it's for them. You can keep an eye on, you can keep a screenshot of Larsen on the weekly time frame, and you can just keep it for your future reference. Larsen gives a breakout, slips the very next bar and the very next bar and the very next bar. So the slip can be in 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. The most important thing is it breaks out and it fails. अब वो failure एक दिन में हो जाएगा या 2-3 दिन लगाएगा, that is up to the market and the chart. But at this juncture, when we are here, we can say Larsen has given us a breakout failure, number one. So the view on Larsen should not be bullish. You should not be looking to buy this top, this bottom. Then what? We should be looking for a pullback, which is this one. Now, till this point, when you come to this point, you have the view, which is bearish. The rationale of the view is a previous breakout failure. The expectation anticipation is a follow through move down. The trigger of that expectation if the low breaks. अगर मेरा पुल बैक बार का लो टूटता है तो ही मैं नीचे का एक्सपेक्टेशन रख सकता हूं. Now, you will not, of course, get this exactly this way every time, but this is the classic pattern. This is what I generally notice. And the kind of markets that we are in right now, with many stocks and sectors, there's a possibility. TCS also in the past behaved exactly the same. Now, see, in TCS, the breakout failure was one bar, 1 week, just chopped through some 6, 7, 8 weeks of lows. It was a sharp breakout failure. Then it took its own sweet time to pull back, and now it's kind of laggard. It's not opening up on the downside. You know why? Because the very fall was very sharp. जिस बार के साथ उसने ब्रेकआउट को फेल कराया, उसी बार में within that bar it fell 7%. This bar was down 7%. So it becomes very difficult to expect कि इसके बाद भी वो और sharply गिरेगा. ठीक है? So this is breakout failure. Keep this back of your mind, right? Keep this back of your mind. अगर आप NTPC देखेंगे, see NTPC what it has done: breakout, failure, pullback. The second pullback is another breakout, another failure, another pullback. तो टूट नहीं रहा है. It's not breaking down. उसमें तेजी भी है. So it's just pulling itself up and further up. So ध्यान रखिएगा. Just keep an eye on this, because serious stops do come after the majority of the market was extremely bullish. बाजार को extremely bullish के दायरे में ले जाके फिर उसको वहां से वो breakout failure कर सकता है. There can be a breakout failure. So a good thing would be, of course, always to keep an eye on the sectoral charts and take a look on the daily. Take a look on the bar chart. आपको ये Heiken Ashi में, because everyone does not use Heiken Ashi, I cannot expect everyone to be an expert in Heiken Ashi. But because you will be using bar chart, or you might be, most of the students that I train in our masterclass, when I ask them, आप कौन सा chart use करते हो, हमेशा मुझे 99% of the time candlesticks and line chart यही सुनने को मिलता है, which is completely fine. I'm not saying candles are bad, but आपको candles and bar में ये better बैठेगा, आपको दिखेगा. Okay, I can see it on Heiken Ashi because I've kind of got used to Heiken Ashi now. So मुझे दिखता है the same concept in an Heiken Ashi, using an Heiken Ashi chart. But for you, I would suggest that keep an eye of this breakout concept with the help of bar chart. ठीक है, ध्यान रखिएगा इस पे. Now, quickly coming back to the market and what can we expect. Seriously means I would love to say I don't know. And when I say I would love to say, is it's an honest answer. I don't know. There's nothing that I need to know everything. And whatever I know has to go right. That is also, the market has taught me enough just to realize that do your best in your preparation, in your anticipation. Take the trade and do your risk management and show your discipline. Rest, you don't have to worry. Rest, you leave it to the market. So We prepare for the market, we prepare for some trades, कुछ चलते हैं, कुछ नहीं चलते, and it actually, uh, I'm not too sure which way it's going to go. There are two reasons. One, the choppiness is extreme, the choppiness degree of extreme choppiness. I don't know if you're relatively new to the market. I don't know. If someone new enters in this kind of a market situation, he or she will find it really tough. आपको लगेगा समझ आ रहा है कि मार्केट में हो क्या. If you are in that category, do let me know. But if you are in that category in the last couple of months or 3 months, you've just got completely frustrated with the market, don't worry. It's the nature of the market. जितना वो कंसोलिडेट कर रहा है या रेंज में है, उतना ही अच्छी तरह से in the future it will trend. That is a directional move. The million or $1 billion question is which way? Will the directional move be on the downside, which will give the derivatives trader a very good opportunity to make money going short, or will it be on the upside? Now, at this juncture, I would say I don't know. I can only anticipate. My anticipation does not have any degree of certainty involved in it. Probability, predictability, yes. The key thing is the losing momentum on my weekly charts. This is the key thing for any kind of weakness. The key thing is मेरा weekly charts का जो momentum है वो फिसल रहा है काफी हफ्तों से. And that is why the daily chart is not going anywhere. इसीलिए daily chart कहीं जा नहीं रहा. Now, in a structurally strong uptrend, generally when the market consolidates and slows down, it goes range bound, a little bit of correction and pulls back, like it happened last time. अगर बाजार को गिरना ही है, it should not do so much of time pass. And what it is doing is essentially time pass. So I have kind of a 50% anticipation that this can be a momentum ease. The market has, oscillated for a long time and it can pick up to an all-light. I'm prepared for this. And I'm also prepared for if the market breaks down and opens up on the downside for some serious correction towards 21,200 or 21K. I'm actually also prepared for that. Between these two, if you ask me which one do you think has a slightly more probability to it, I don't know. But if you ask me which one would I prefer, I would prefer the one on the downside. Why? I'm not a perennial bear or anything. The reason is when the momentum reading is down and the trend reading, that is the directional reading, matches or goes in sync with this reading, generally, again, everything is not sacrosanct here. Generally, it leads to a good directional move. तो अगर ये नीचे की तरफ खुलता है, then the probability of a good directional move on the downside is much higher than on the upside, because upsides, I think it will continue to face some serious resistance. And for that upside to happen, हम और कितना ऑटो से एक्सपेक्ट करेंगे, the way auto is behaving. हम और कितना metals से एक्सपेक्ट करेंगे, because metals are also doing exceptionally well. So that leadership or that change of hands, जिसको हम लोग sectoral rotation बुलाते हैं, quote unquote, that has to happen. और वो मुझे दिख नहीं रहा. In fact, last week or I think previous week also, Monday, we had discussed the CNX IT at length. I think we did that. एंड हम लोग ने ये भी डिस्कस किया था स्टॉक वाइज एंड ऑल दोस, एंड वी डिस्कस कि जो सबसे अच्छा स्टॉक लग रहा है जिसने मूव दिया था वो है टीसीएस. आपको याद होगा, आई थिंक इफ यू बीन जॉइनिंग दीज सेशंस विद मी, टीसीएस वाज शोइंग अ गुड बिट ऑफ अ मूवमेंट, बट इट जस्ट डिड नॉट फॉलो थ्रू. टीसीएस का ये जो मूव था जस्ट ड्रैग ही करता रहा फॉर द लास्ट एंटायर वीक. लास्ट वीक इट ड्रैग्ड. So it's not showing that leadership. Unless Infosys, TCS kind of stocks don't show the leadership, it's not going to work. IT will not be able to pick up. So I still continue to watch the IT stocks very closely. But for that upside to happen, we need to have that leadership. Now, before I take up your few questions, I can see few questions have already got posted here. What I would like to say at the end of my discussion about the market with you is the market is stock specific. The market is stock specific. So if you can identify and if you have a good trade in your hand which looks promising, irrespective of the market direction on that day or that week, you might get a good trade. The market may have gone up 400 points, but you might have got a very good trade on the short side or vice versa, right? So I would like to say that the market is choppy and volatile. You don't need me to tell you that. आप stocks पे ज़्यादा focus कीजिए and go with those where you have the highest conviction. Do not sit on your trade for a long span of time, because this is not the market to follow the trend. ट्रेंड बन ही नहीं रहा है तो फॉलो किसको करें? सो दिस इज द मार्केट वेयर यू डू, जो मैं बोलता हूँ, हिट एंड रन ट्रेड्स. आप लीजिए, छोटा सा मूव आता है, यू शुड बी सैटिस्फाइड विद दैट मूव, राइट? Okay, let me check if there's any questions. I can see some. Again, most of the questions, as I can see, are predominantly stock based. Let me take a look at. Naresh is asking about iBank. Jitendra is asking about Dr. Reddy, Usha Martin, EKC, Moil, Bajaj Finance, Tidewater, IRCTC, ICICI Bank. 3 minute intraday के लिए कैसा रहेगा? So all your questions are stock specific, which is okay. That's your question. I do respect it. But I generally do not want to go too much detail into stocks. I would tell you that I am not an advisor. So you should always, discuss with your financial advisor or anyone who will be able to guide you better. I analyze charts and I trade them based on the charts. So I'll just share my thoughts about it. These are only my thoughts. These are nothing to do with trading or trading recommendations. Please don't misunderstand. Naresh Arora has just written ICICI Bank. So I'm just going to share my view on just ICICI Bank, which is in a very strong uptrend. It's a very good uptrend on the ICICI Bank on the weekly charts. The daily had given us a breakdown failure and a breakout. Generally, this breakout comes with a throwback, and the throwback is giving support. So view-wise, bias positive. The charts are not showing any relevance or any immediate readings of negativity as of now. So I think ये जो recent pullback रहा है, this recent pullback, उसके जो lows हैं, like levels like this, 11, 10, 11, 15, these levels जब तक hold कर रहे, then the probability should be on the upside. So keep an alert on these levels. So iBank looks relatively fine. Jitendra, you have Dr. Reddy and I have some self position. Okay, so I will not talk about your particular self position. I'll just take a look at Dr. Reddy and share my view. So it looks like you've got a stock which is in a downtrend, and it's opened up beautifully on the downside. So you see the market. This is exactly what I was trying to tell you. Share with everyone that be very stock specific. If you catch the stock right, you don't need to worry about the market. And in this case, I think you've got that in Dr. Reddy. I think it's fine. It's open up on the downside. You should remember that Dr. Reddy had spent some time and created some resistance in this area. And this area is around 5790, 5800, which you can expect some bit of a support. आप expect कर सकते हो कि 5790, 5800 के आसपास उसको एक छोटा मोटा support मिल सकता है. So keep an eye on that level. That's it. That was Jitendra Yadav's question, which was on Dr. Reddy. Arpita is asking about Usha Martin. Arpita's question on Usha Martin, which is picking up. Now, Usha Martin is royally range bound on the higher time frame on the weekly, so it's kind of clueless in terms of the direction. Daily has started to pick up, so essentially your stock is stuck within this range. Essentially, आपका जो उषा मार्टिन है वो पूरी तरह से इस रेंज में है. शॉर्ट टर्म सपोर्ट ऑफ कोर्स आपको सीधा दिख रहा है 330 के आसपास. लॉन्ग टर्म रेजिस्टेंस आपको क्लियरली दिख रहा है 370, 380 का जो जोन है. So it's kind of range bound. So wait for the stock to kind of come out of that range and give you that conviction. EKC, Moil, this will not stop if I keep on looking at these charts. So EKC is coming from Naresh again. Naresh, I've taken one of your questions, so let me take a look at some others also, so that you can diversify my time amongst most of the questions. So Moil is in a beautiful uptrend, and Moil is coming from Raja Matani. Moil downside target. Now, if I see the chart with you, as you can see, the stock is right up there and showing immense strength across multiple time frames. I don't know why you would like to see Moil downside target. Someone probably will ask Moil's upside target. I don't know upside target or downside target. मुझे एक चीज मैंने सीखा नहीं है, समझा है. I have experienced and understood कि मार्केट में टारगेट बोल के कुछ नहीं होता. So this is a beautiful uptrend and strong chart, relatively definitely strong in this market condition. So if someone has it, should try and ride it as much as possible. Okay, Nishant is asking that, hello sir, please let us show the indicators that you have been. So these are indicators which are a little bit proprietary in nature, in line with our masterclass program that I take. कुछ fancy नहीं है निशांत, ये एक super trend है. ये एक MACD का एक वेरिएशन है जो हम लोग ने बनाया है. ये 2 पीरियड का RSI है, इसमें कोई फैंसी नहीं है, सिंपल 2 पीरियड का RSI है. और ये एक रेंज एक्सपेंशन, रेंज कॉन्ट्रैक्शन इंडिकेटर है. इसके बारे में आपको मेरे यूट्यूब चैनल में एक वीडियो है, उसमें दिख जाएगा. आई हैड created a video on this, how to time your entry and exit was the name of the video. I'd created some 5-6 years back. So nothing fancy. The look of it is a little fancy because it's not slightly, it's proprietary in nature. We have kind of coded it in Pine and we have created them. But concepts kuch as such todfod nahi hai. Trend, momentum, short-term overbought, oversold, volatility. That's it. Next is some Jaswinder is asking the regular earning के लिए किस strategy पर काम करें. Regular earning के लिए पहले जसविंदर जी सर आप खुद पे ऊपर काम करें. ठीक है, अगर आपको किसी ने बताया कि regular earning के लिए ये strategy है, वो strategy है, फिर उन्होंने market trade नहीं किया because ऐसा कुछ है नहीं. और अगर है तो वो ज़्यादा दिन last नहीं करता है. If there is something which is easily working in the market and regular income आ रहा है, वो ज़्यादा दिन रहेगा नहीं. मार्केट अपना नेचर ऐसे चेंज कर देगा कि वो स्ट्रैटेजी काम हो जाए. तो आई वुड सजेस्ट दैट यू नो टू पुट इट इन सिंपल टर्म्स, अगर आपको रेगुलर इनकम चाहिए ना, अर्निंग चाहिए, मतलब आपको सिक्योरिटी चाहिए, आपको रेगुलरिटी चाहिए, आप नौकरी कर लीजिए. दैट्स द बेस्ट थिंग. जो इफ यू वांट टू ट्रेड एंड इफ यू वांट टू पुट इन योर टाइम इन द मार्केट्स, then your mentality should not be of regular earning. Your mentality would be of finding opportunity. अब वो irregular हो सकता है, irregular हो सकता है. महीने का पहला 3 हफ्ता हो सकता है आपका लॉस हो, बट चौथे हफ्ते में इतना प्रॉफिट हो कि पूरा रिकवर हो जाए. सो मार्केट इज वेरिएबल, मार्केट इज डायनामिक, आपका अर्निंग्स भी डायनामिक ही होगा. अगर आप रेगुलर ढूंढ रहे हो तो आई थिंक द बेस्ट थिंग टू डू इज गेट योरसेल्फ अ गुड जॉब. Do I sense, Manish, this is a good question, that do I sense that the market is in a distribution phase? Possible. Now, the thing is, in this market environment, in these conditions, when can we confirm? The problem with confirmation is when we have a proper breakdown and let's say the index is at 21,750 or 21,500. तब एक टेक्निकल एनालिस्ट आके बोलेगा अरे ये तो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन था, करेक्ट. बट द पॉइंट इज व्हाट डू यू से नाउ, व्हाट्स योर कॉल नाउ. सो कैन दिस बी एन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन? I think it's a possibility. As I said, it's 50-50. For me, it's 50-50. The only thing is, if it had to break down, why are you taking so much time? Maybe it's taking so much time to distribute. And that's also a possibility. If you track me or track my work on YouTube, I post once in a while a video. So last week का जो सेक्टरल एनालिसिस था, उसमें मुझे 2-3 ऐसे सेक्टर्स दिखे जिनको देख के थोड़ा डर लग रहा है. In the sense, they can give us a sharp downside possibility. So you can watch that video. It's a detailed analysis on the sectors. So I agree with you. It's a possibility. But unless and until price confirms that, unless and until few sectors confirm it, it's too difficult to tilt yourself towards bearishness, because if it's a distribution market, it will fall. Okay, this is a very basic question. Can you explain a pullback, Nitin? Pullback is when a market goes up and it pulls back on the downside. It's a pullback. And when the market is falling, let's say market is coming down and it pulls back on the upside. Buy on a dip, sell on a rise. That's the kind of a pullback. Next is Pradeep. In this choppy market, do you recommend futures or options? Choppy, non-choppy, dynamic, trending. It depends. You cannot say that okay, when the market is trending, I will trade cash, and when the market is choppy, I will trade options. When the market is something else, I will trade futures. ऐसा नहीं होता है sir. If you're a futures trader, you're predominantly a futures trader. If you're an options trader, no matter what the market conditions, you will be an options trader. और अगर आप शॉर्ट टर्म, मीडियम टर्म, लॉन्ग टर्म, व्हाटएवर टाइम फ्रेम में कैश मार्केट में लॉन्ग ओनली अगर करते हो, तो इरेस्पेक्टिव ऑफ द मार्केट आप वही करेंगे. खाली यही होगा कि रेंज बाउंड मार्केट में आपको मौका कम मिलेगा, ट्रेंडिंग मार्केट में आपको मौका ज्यादा मिलेगा. So I only trade the futures predominantly, like 95% of the time I trade the futures. And choppy, non-choppy doesn't make much of a difference. Yes, in a choppy market, it's difficult. In a trending market, up or down, it's much more relatively easier. So what happens in a choppy market when directional clarity is not there, when it's flipping very quickly, आप फर्स्ट फोर्थ गियर में गाड़ी नहीं चला सकते. यहाँ पे आपको गियर घटाना पड़ेगा, फर्स्ट गियर सेकंड गियर में चलाना पड़ेगा, जब तक कि फिर से थोड़ा सा क्लैरिटी नहीं दिखता है, रास्ता नहीं दिखता. अभी रास्ता नहीं दिख रहा है. ठीक है, तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप पूरा गाड़ी चेंज कर दो. आप बोल रहे हो कि अरे ये रास्ते में मैं ये गाड़ी चलाऊंगा, नहीं रास्ता थोड़ा खराब है, मैं गाड़ी चेंज कर लेता हूँ. दैट्स व्हाट यू आर आस्किंग. इट डजंट वर्क दैट वे. Jitendra is saying that I'm TMP student and next month we will meet. Yes, if you're a part of TMP, we will definitely meet. Probably that's the beginning of your last 2 months with me. It'll be great, Jitendra, to join in our live classes and discuss the markets and find some great opportunities. Mainly stock related questions. I can see these stock related questions. I'll just quickly check if there's something apart from that, and then towards the end I can take few more stocks. Okay, this is a good question. Abhishek, oh, good to see you. I was just wondering, why haven't you posted any question yet? All right, good to see you. What criteria do you use for confirmation before going for a trade? So the method that I use is I definitely want to see the momentum picking up on that particular time frame on that chart. The momentum should be supported by the directional movement of that particular chart, which gives us a sync that the trend and the momentum are in sync. So we can expect the chart to go up. And then I personally prefer the pullbacks. I personally prefer let that particular chart pull back, and then once it renews the buying, I go for it. That's the long setup. The short setup is just the opposite, that you look for a slowdown in the momentum, and the slowdown of that should be in sync with the direction. So the direction is down, the momentum is down, the view is bearish. Now bearish view में मैं वेट करूंगा कब ये पुल बैक देगा, और जब पुल बैक देता है तब मैं इस पे शॉर्ट करना चाहता हूँ. It's a pullback strategy. That's exactly what I teach and explain in the master class in the TMP. Is it a good strategy? It's a simple strategy. Does it work? It works. We have been using this strategy for many years now, and I've been recording these strategies and observations, particularly for masterclass and TMP, for the last 1 year now. So I have data over that. So that's the style. I like to keep it simple. मुझे मेरे में एक कीड़ा है that needs to settle down soon. That I am kind of always trying to simplify my approach and strategy with the help of the chart. Okay. So what you're looking at in front of you today, Abhishek, momentum trend and pullback and all that, it looks very cleaner and simpler. But अगर आप मुझे 4-5 साल पहले अगर मेरे साथ कोई प्रोग्राम करते, कोर्स करते, या मेरे कुछ पुराने अगर आप वीडियोस देखेंगे, my chart was little more cluttered. 2-3 चीज एक्स्ट्रा थे चार्ट पे which helped me in my readings. तो उनको मैं सिंप्लीफाई कर रहा हूँ. So my job is, my work is to make trading methodical and make trading simple. The secret is not in the strategy. The secret is not in the market. The secret is not in trading options or futures or cash. The secret is, do you know what you're doing? Do you know how are you doing? Do you know what is your downside and risk tolerance? Will you be able to bounce back if you had a bad day, week or month? The secret lies there. But ये सब समझने में वक्त लगता है सर. Okay, mostly stocks. SME IPOs have recently showed tremendous returns. This is Abdul. Hi. Kindly guide how we should trade SMEs. I have no clue. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I have no clue. I don't invest in any IPOs. I've never done that ever. I am a secondary market guy and looks at the charts and trades futures, and I have my 108 stocks which I focus. This is my 108 stocks. मैं generally इसके बाहर बहुत कम निकलता हूँ, बहुत कम. जब इस यूनिवर्स के अंदर मुझे अच्छा खासा कोई ट्रेड नहीं मिलता है, then only I step out of it, staying within the futures. मैं futures के बाहर नहीं जाता. So I'm sorry, I'm not the right guy to discuss this with you. Not enough knowledge in this particular area. So I'll just take the last 7-8 minutes and quickly take few more stock related questions from someone who is not, I've not taken your question yet. GPIL, this is Naman, and GPIL result are coming of that stock. What is your view? So earnings which is coming up upfront, generally I suggest students not to take any trade when you know that the earnings is there. So it's not that यही आपका last trade होगा जिंदगी में. तो काफी सारे opportunities आपको मिलता ही रहेगा. From the market is full of opportunities. So if you do not have, अगर आपके GPIL में कोई position नहीं है, तो कोई नया करके position बनाने का जरूरत नहीं है. Because you know earnings can lead to a bit of an intraday choppiness, volatility, etc. Last time जब earnings निकला था, it had given us a decent move जो ऊपर में टिका नहीं है, sharp downside, sharp upside, तो बहुत ड्रामा हुआ था. Last time बहुत अच्छा खासा ड्रामा हुआ था. So I don't know this time what will happen. I would suggest to stay away. If you already invested in GPIL, it depends on the tenure of your investment. So you should be fine. And if you're a trader in GPIL, then whatever be the earnings result, your risk management should be in place, no matter what happens. Okay, Shobhik Chaudhary, I'll quickly take your question, and that is Lakshmi Machine. And your question is my view. So it's coming out of a range. We can see this range on the weekly chart. We can see how it is taking that on the weekly. ये बहुत flag जैसा दिख रहा है. The flag pattern, if you understand flag pattern. On the daily, it's an extended channel on the downside, a beautiful channel. ज़्यादा liquid stock नहीं है. Price behavior, by the look of the Heiken Ashi, I can sense it's not a great liquid counter. Nevertheless, earnings, by the way, is behind you. It was on the 18th of May. So we'll see how it behaves on the opening tomorrow. But structurally pretty strong. By the look of the weekly daily combination, देख के तो ऐसा लग रहा है that it should continue to go up. How it will react tomorrow's opening based on the earnings on Saturday, that we just have to see and observe tomorrow morning. Right, 2 more questions. I'll quickly take it up. And Devashish, you have asked me about Orcon and IRCTC. मैं IRCTC ले लेता हूँ. I personally track and trade IRCTC, so it will be a good homework for me too. And the stock gives a phenomenal run and breaks out. It's a bit of a choppy behavior on the weekly chart. It has created a huge range expansion last week. Huge. It's a huge range movement. Earnings coming up on the 28th. That's the next Tuesday. Structurally positive. Momentum has just started to pick up. As such, kuch bearishness on the charts immediately nahi hai. Just keep an eye on breakout failures, the concept which I explained with everyone today morning, that whenever any stock hits a new high and behaves and goes up, just उस दिन का लो और उसके previous दिन के लो पे ध्यान रखिएगा, whether that low gets broken immediately or not. But IRCTC looks pretty strong. Chaliye, last question. Let me take one more question. Let me check if I have any conceptual doubts in the chat box, or else I'll take one last. Okay, Devashish Chakrabarti, your question, sorry. Devashish, your question is the stock in which the long buildup is high in future, then is there a probability of the stock to be momentum in cash? I don't know. Theory batata hai if the what is a long build up. I think theory tells you price up, open interest up, something like that, huh? And अगर वो होता है then it's a bullish, it's a long build up. And long build up मतलब उसमें long build up हो रहा है, और अगर long build up हो रहा है वो ऊपर जाना चाहिए. And based on your question, अगर future ऊपर जाता है तो underlying तो ऊपर जाएगा ही, और underlying ऊपर जाएगा तभी ना future ऊपर, something like that. So my point is I don't know, because I do not do all these kind of conventional market analysis. I don't even remember when was the last time I ever scanned price up, open interest up, and volume up. I do not look into it. I only focus predominantly on price. Now that does not mean that I am saying open interest and वो सब बेकार है. No, मुझे ज़रूरत नहीं है. I have decided I'm not going to include that in my analysis or in the process of stock identification. So I will not be. So if you ask me and extend this question कि आप क्यों नहीं करते हो, because मैंने करके देखा मुझे कोई फायदा नहीं होता. I have seen that it makes my trading decision a slightly more complicated, and सारा बाजार वही करता है, और जो सारा बाजार दिखता है और करता है वो मुझे नहीं करना. ठीक है? So I kind of stay away from that, and I have my own way of looking at charts, rule and method of looking at charts, which takes me to some degree of analysis, bullish or bearish or confused. Stay away if it's confused. If it's bullish, look for an opportunity to buy. If it's bearish, look for an opportunity to sell. You need to know your risk profile. You should know how much risk you can afford to take in any trade. Discipline कैसे सिखाया आपको ये? I can show you what is a super trend, I can show you what is an EMA, but discipline सिखाना बहुत मुश्किल है. So yeah, so that's why I kind of keep it, जैसे मैंने बताया just few minutes back, I'm always in that frame of mind. Oh, can I make it simpler? Can I have the same productivity? Can I have, let's say, have the same strike rate, expectancy, but with a simpler chart? So I am constantly working at it for years now. It is improving, much improvement. Hopefully at some stage in the future I'll say this is it, full stop. So मैं चीज़ों को simplify करता हूँ और करते ही रहता हूँ till I reach a point where I say I drop the hat and say yeah, this is it. So that's why Devashish, sadly वो सब मैंने बहुत साल पहले छोड़ दिया था देखना. They are not bad, it's just मैं नहीं देखता. ठीक है? All right, guys, thank you. We'll wrap it up today here, almost 6:45. I keep around 40-45 minutes, which I think is a nice time for all of us. It's good to see that you're joining in and definitely participating in this Monday's session. So with that, I'll sign up, and we'll catch up again next Monday at 6 o'clock.